First, I just want to give my condolences to the family of our dear brother, Patrick Lyoya. Lyoya. I don't mean to, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, my brother. Please, this is ridiculous. This happened in the state that I currently live in, which is Michigan. This happened like 3 hours away from where I stay. I'm sure some of you are aware by now of this shooting death of this brother. His family immigrated from the Democratic Republic of Congo back in 2013. Here's the footage. Never mind the commercial. You always want to throw a commercial that show the killing of a black man.
This is the moment a traffic stop took a deadly turn. After calls for transparency, Grand Rapids police are releasing several videos showing the moments leading up to and after a Grand Rapids police officer shot and killed Patrick Lyoya.
Let's walk you through it. The disturbing video shows the officer initiating a traffic stop last Monday morning near the corner of Griggs Street and Nelson Avenue in Grand Rapids. Patrick comes to a complete stop and exits the car. In the video, you can hear the officer telling him to get back in the car, then asks Patrick if he has a driver's license. When Patrick tries to walk away, the officer and Patrick get into a scuffle and end up in the grass, as you can see in the video here. The officer can be heard shouting at Patrick several times to let go of his taser. At one point, you can hear the taser deploy, but police say it did not make contact with Patrick. The video then shows the officer on top of Patrick's back, Patrick facing down. As the two continue to struggle, the officer then pulls out his firearm and shoots Patrick in the back of the head, killing him.
The video now sparking outrage within the community. Hundreds hit the streets of Grand Rapids last night in a peaceful protest, chanting Patrick's name and calling for action. There are also calls for the officer to be arrested and charged. And Emily, we're still waiting to see if that will happen.
That's right. As the community continues to demand justice and answers, law experts explain these sorts of things come with time, leaving many wondering what happens next. 13 on your side's Joshua Vincent joins us live this morning. He's downtown with what we're learning next. Good morning, Josh.
Emily, the entire world saw that deadly police shooting video taking place right here in Grand Rapids, leaving the city on edge. And you can see an example of that by looking at this barricade right in front of police headquarters in downtown. And, you know, despite everyone being upset and rising frustrations mounting, members of the community let their voices be heard, yet remain peaceful. So the question is, what happens next? The Kent County Prosecuting Attorney's Office said Michigan State Police is conducting its independent investigation, and it will not be able to review the case until all of the evidence provided by MSP is released. We reached out to state police, who say there is no timeline or timetable for when its investigation will be complete. And remember, as of last check, they still have not interviewed that officer or explained why. Law experts we spoke to say these investigations take time, even though the community want answers right now.
While everybody wants answers and justice now, I think it's important that these agencies take the time they need to, so that nobody can say in the future this was a rush job. What this is going to come down to is, even though there was a protracted struggle and Mr. Lyoya apparently reached for a taser, what's going to matter is that seconds before decision where the officer ultimately pulled his gun out and shot Mr. Lyoya.
She also says in cases with this amount of attention, it's typical to not have the officer's name to be released. Now, it is worth noting, civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump said yesterday that he will be here in Grand Rapids. He represents the family, and he will be joining Detroit area defense attorney Vin Johnson. He also joined the legal team for the Lyoya family. So they'll have a press conference later on this afternoon. Stick with 13 on your side. We're definitely going to bring that to you live and on air. We're live outside the we're live here at the police station this morning. Joshua Vincent, 13 on your side.
Josh, thank you. The Grand Rapids chapter of the NAACP is calling the entire interaction an unnecessary and excessive use of deadly force.
And they are calling for the officer involved to be fired. Grand Rapids NAACP President Clete Jackson says this video should have been released sooner. And while the name of the officer has yet to be released, the NAACP's legal counsel for public safety believes Chief Eric Winstrom has enough evidence to fire the officer.
And in our opinion, it was just straight up murder. With him being new, I think this could be a good opportunity for him to set a good foot forward with the community and show them that he really supports the community more than this toxic police culture of the Grand Rapids Police Department.
The Grand Rapids NAACP is also calling this fatal shooting the result of a system rooted in anti-blackness. In addition to releasing the video, Lyoya's family is asking authorities to allow an independent autopsy, and the Kent County Medical Examiner is responding to that request. Stephen Cole is saying he completed Lyoya's autopsy on April 4th and will cooperate with any board-certified forensics pathologist to do an independent autopsy. He also says he notified Patrick's family that his body is available for release to a funeral home. And again, later this afternoon, we expect to hear from the Lyoya family attorneys, Ben Crump and Vin Johnson. We'll be holding a press conference at 1:30 this afternoon. We will be at that press conference and provide the very latest, both on air and online. You can also find extended coverage right now at 13onyourside.com.
Same MO as usual. They won't release the name of the officer, but they shall release the name of the victim. And just like the good old boy Benjamin Crump is, here he comes to the rescue. Another black man is dead. And for what? What did he do wrong? Can you explain that to Grand Rapids Police? What did he do wrong? And you felt you was justified in shooting and killing this young black man. You wouldn't have those gates up against your police station. You already know our people's not going to come and do anything. All our people do is just talk. It's the same routine as usual. Anytime a black person gets killed, y'all want to withhold the name of the pig who killed him. You put him on administrative leave. You know we finna go out here and protest, which has never worked. And Benjamin Crump, the so-called civil rights attorney, is right there to the rescue. I truly don't understand this. Talking about investigation. Do you hear what that white woman said about this kind of investigation takes time? But it was funny how they was able to find that the black man who was shooting in the subway in New York. They was able to find him within 36 hours and arrest him. But you mean to tell me that pig can't be arrested? His name can't be released? That's bullshit. And the NAACP, like I always gonna keep saying, the NAACP is a fucking joke. We know this has been rooted in anti-blackness. They have been hating us. So why the fuck is we still here? And I know some of you FBA fuckboys is going to say something about him being from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I know y'all motherfuckers. So y'all can cut that shit. Because nobody here that's black is originally from America. I don't understand why black people think we can trust these white Caucasian animals to get justice for us. We can only get justice for ourselves. They're not taking this shit seriously. They don't give a fuck about how we feel. I'm back. Had a little delay. Now I'm about to show you the protesting.
We've watched as the crowd built, but now it's diminished. There are relatively few people still out here right now. A protest has been planned for this weekend, but that's actually been moved up to 5 o'clock today. And Doug Reardon is at that demonstration right now, just a couple of blocks away from where we are right now with the latest there. Doug?
Yeah, good afternoon, Josh. I'd be surprised if you can't hear this from where you are, just about 2 blocks up the road at GRPD headquarters. We're down here at Rosa Parks Circle. I'm going to let you listen for just a second to this protest. So far this afternoon, Josh, we've heard from about 4 or 5 speakers. In fact, one gentleman was someone who has been a community activist here for a long time who said his cousin was killed by Chicago police. So there are a lot of people with close connections to this. But 10 days ago was when Patrick Lyoya was killed. We have been waiting for this video ever since, and so has this crowd. They've been gathering very slowly here. We've seen signs with Patrick's name on it. We've seen signs with Black Lives Matter on it. And there's about a group of 200 people here right now. And we have gotten a chance to talk to a couple of people who were really upset by that video. They watched it, same as we did, when it was announced during that presentation and shown in that video. And they were, of course, very, very upset by it, very disturbed by it. And they want to know the name of the officer. We know that Chief Winstrom said we don't name suspects until they're charged. That's going to be the case with the officer as well. So that is the one lingering question here for a lot of folks that we talk to just out and about, saying we don't know the name of this officer. We want to know that. So right now things are just kind of in that settling phase. People are getting here. We've seen a lot of people trickling in the last couple of minutes. So I think the plan for this group is to hear a couple more people, a couple more activists, a couple more organizers before they head up the street, Josh, to where you are at Grand Rapids Police Headquarters, or at least as close as they can get with those barriers that we've seen. So we're going to send it back to you, Josh, up the road, and we'll check in with you in a couple minutes here as it starts to get going the way it's supposed to. So back to you for now, Josh.
Yeah, Doug, you mentioned the concrete barriers and the fencing that was put up right in front of Grand Rapids Police Headquarters. As that video was being released, a forklift actually came and pushed these concrete barriers and the fencing right up against the wall of Grand Rapids Headquarters. The police department had said that initially that these were set up as an abundance of caution, that they were still here, though, to allow essential personnel to come in and out. They don't need that anymore, and they've pushed this up against the wall of the headquarters. Though, as you mentioned, the protest is happening down there. There's still activity here right now outside of Grand Rapids Police Headquarters. Our coverage will not be over. We're talking about the businesses in this area that have responded to what happened. They're taking their own protections. We have that coming up, as well as a timeline of all the events. We'll have much more coverage of the release of this video throughout the hour. You can stay with Fox 17 on air. And remember, you can find all of our stories on this case on fox17online.com.
As I stated earlier, what good is protesting when the same things continue to happen? I see more white people out there protesting than black people. I seen a young white male with a Black Lives Matter hat on. I mean, come on, can we just state the obvious? You know, we know how long it's going to take for them to prosecute this white boy who shot and killed his brother. Should none of us be shocked about the routine procedure? Black man gets killed. Officer goes on administrative leave. They're going to take forever with the investigation. We probably won't even hear about this till next year sometime. And you know, Benjamin Crump ain't going to do shit. It just seemed to be one thing after another. I just wish my brothers and sisters would wake up and understand that protesting is not going to solve the problem. We've been protesting for close to 60 years since the Civil Rights era. And the only thing we got out of that was the Voting Rights Act. And we don't even benefit from that. Wake up, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to end this right here because I'm just really frustrated right now because I'm so sick and tired of seeing black males getting killed. You can like, comment, subscribe to the video. Let me know what you think. And on that note, I'm done.